Good evening again, Palm Bay. How are you doing? I need your favor. I need a favor. And you know what my favor is going to be, right? I need you to hit the like button. I need you to hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, I need you to go over to that share icon, hit the share, and share it to the different political groups, groups in Palm Bay. As much as possible, I need that favor from you right now. Share it to your friends, your colleagues, etc. Whoever that resides in Palm Bay and who can vote and will be able to vote on August 20th. This is the opportunity to help me get the message out about Miss Edith Rivera's campaign. So please hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Do that for me right now. Let's get the count up so we can get started. So tonight, Miss Edith Rivera is here with me. She is running for the office of the mayor. She wants to be the mayor of Palm Bay. And tonight, I'm going to be laying some questions out for her. And she's very aware of what the questions may be already. And so, and we're going to see how she answers these questions. And you also will have an opportunity to chime in and ask questions to her. But let's get this message out. So hit the like button, hit the share button, and let's get it going. So, Mr. Rivera, welcome to the platform. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Kevin. How are you?
Great, awesome. Thank you for being here. And I see the count is going up. This is good. So keep it going. Please keep hitting the like button, hitting that like button. Let's keep it going. There's more of us watching. I can see the YouTube count is different, and you may not be seeing it, but I'm seeing it different. So everyone on YouTube, share it to many places as you can, and those who are on Facebook, share it as well. Please help us get this count going because Miss Rivera's would like her message to get out, right? And for those who are supporters of Miss Rivera, you want to help to get her message out too as well, right? And I'm sure Miss Rivera would love that that you share this to the many different platforms and your different family members, etc. in Palm Bay. Let's get going. And already seeing your supporters, people are saying they already voted for you. I voted for Mr. Rivera. Very good. I see
Yes.
Mr. Davis saying the same thing, right? And this individual on YouTube says, I will vote for Edith Rivera. Let's go Palm Bay. And then this individual said, Miss Jeanette says, go Miss Rivera. Okay, so your supporters are here in the numbers already. They're showing up and they help getting you riled up for this interview. And so let's get going. Introduce yourself for me to the audience. Let them know who you are. I am not too familiar with you. I am no stranger to Palm Bay for those who know me. I follow Palm Bay politics a lot, and I'm not aware of you per se. And there can be others out there who are not aware of you. So this is your opportunity. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let them know who you are and why you're running for this seat.
I would like to thank Kevin for this great opportunity. His dedication to the community is awesome. I would like to let everyone know that my name is Edith Rivera, and I am a candidate for the office of mayor in Palm Bay. And it is a monumental time in my life that I cannot even believe that I am here today wanting to help you and help you with our city. I am a strong, faithful woman. I have good ethics and moral values. I have lived in Palm Bay for over 34 years. July, as a matter of fact, makes 34 years that I have lived here in Palm Bay. I am a patriot and I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America. My late husband, who was a veteran, we were living in New Jersey and the taxes and the property taxes were going up and the insurance. We had our children. in private schools, and then we had to make a decision what we wanted to do with our children, and we wanted to continue life where we could enjoy it. So we came to Palm Bay 34 years ago. He passed, but I raised our children here, and my children are raising their children here. So we have made Palm Bay our home, and I am here to serve you. I have a lot of management experience, financial experience. I have budget experience. I can solve problems. I am a good listener. I have effective communication. I am very well organized. I have the ability to delegate, solve problems, decision making, and I am fair. I will be fair across the board. I will set goals for this city and for my citizens of this city. I am educated in the realm of food and nutrition and management. And I am here to please and serve the community. I want for everyone to know that I am aware of my responsibility. If I get chosen for this position, I know that I will be to serve you. I will be your servants because I need good leaders out there that will help me be a good servant. Thank you.
Great. So now, Palm Bay, I only see one like, one decade light. Come on now. Let's increase that. Hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. Let's go. Hit the like button, please. Increase that. We need the algorithms to work in our favor. So hit the like button, please.
Mm.
Please. I see two now, two. Uh, you know, I know there's a lot of supporters of Miss Rivera here. So you can help me out by increasing the chances of her message going out by hitting that like button and that subscribe button. So please do that for me. And I see a lot of folks are on YouTube, which is good. All right. So let's get started. All right, let's get started. Um, Mr. River, uh, again, thanks for joining us. And you've mentioned being engaged in the community with the political process for many years. Can you share some specific instances where you have been active in the community politically?
I don't recall saying that, but anyway, I want to make a correction that I have been involved in the community, but not on the political realm
Okay,
or
I thought I
sphere.
saw it on one of your platforms. Okay, so I
Hmm.
must be mistaken. All right, go ahead.
But anyway, I have been involved in the community. Spending here 34 years will definitely give me the ability to be part of the community. Our church has definitely done a lot for the community. We feel that we feed the homeless, we give clothing to the homeless. I have involved in the community. I worked at Brevard Job Link, which allowed me to connect
Hmm.
with the community and help them get jobs,
Hmm.
get resources for them to pay their rent. I was a person that I'm also bilingual. So I had a lot of people come to me because they needed other resources that they were not aware of. And I was that channel that they went to get all that information out.
Awesome. Shout out your church. What church do you go to?
I go to it's in Spanish, so now I have to translate it mentally. Casa de Bendición en Español.
Okay. All right.
Home of Blessing. We're located on 351 Americana Boulevard. Thank you for that.
No problem. No problem. All right, let's keep going. So, so no board. You have not served on any boards, right?
That
That's
is correct.
okay. All right.
Can I say something?
Go ahead. Hmm.
I was a mom. And
Got
my job was to be home with my children and make sure they had the proper education. I wanted them to come home and have a cooked meal so we could sit down and do homework and talk about the day. I also worked outside. So that was my career at that time. My goal was to get my children to be good citizens, which today I am very proud to say that I have children that are very good citizens, and they're also producing really good. My grandchildren, they're growing up to be productive and good citizens of Palm Bay.
awesome. 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 All right, let's keep going. government transparency is a must, right? And it's a
Yes.
key point, I believe, is in your platform. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. How do you plan to enhance transparency within Palm Bay's local government?
Well, it starts with me.
Okay.
It always starts at the head. So I will be as transparent as I have to be. I will not keep anything from the citizens. And I think that is one of the main reasons that we are currently coming against is that the present administration is not transparent with the people. And that is the frustration of the people. And in order to run a good city, the government has to be transparent. They have to know how we're spending the money, when we're spending the money, and what money is coming in.
Okay. I love your answer. I
Thank
just
you.
got done interviewing the Miss Vice Mayor Yvonne Minus from the city of Melbourne. She's running for the county commission seat, and one of the things I talked to her about was public forums. Is there something that you envision that you will do, and how often do you think you will do it to ensure that other than just the regular city council meetings, is this something that you would embrace if you were elected?
If I were elected, I would love to have a citizen engagement panel. Number one, I want the citizens to become engaged because that's their gripe right now. We are not engaged with what's going on in the community. I would also love to have time during where our residents and citizens that cannot come to these meetings have a Zoom or something where they can become involved. I would definitely be a hands on mayor. I would be a working mayor. You will see me out there driving my car and going and checking up on things. And you mark my word, and you come and you knock on my door and you says, Miss Edith Rivera, I
Mm,
don't see you out there. I'm going to say, well, okay, you hold me to that, Kevin.
I will. I definitely will. Just like I told Miss Minus, I will hold her to her position too, as well as far as holding public forums, because it's something that I think every city, let me put it that way, every city, every town should embrace, because when we go to our public meetings, what we see is that we're limited to 3 minutes, right, to get in front of the dais to voice our that's not enough time. That's definitely not enough time. I think there should be a means of us sitting and communing together and talking about the issues of the day, whatever that is, in a civil manner. And that's something I want to see happen. Go ahead.
And I believe the fact that they put it to a 3 minute, it's because they have such a large amount. If not, I believe that they would probably be there for so long.
And I
So it
understand that, but I'm saying that separate from that, we should
right.
have as a piece where we have an engagement, where we can fellowship together as a community and sit down and actually talk to each other and hear the concerns of the community without the pomp and circumstances of having to go in front of the dais and be scared out of your mind if you're going to say the right thing, but more relaxed environment. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir. Can I say an amen right there?
Go ahead.
Amen.
And that's pretty much what I'm advocating for from my my little position that I have as host of this podcast is try to get folks to think along those lines, individuals that are running for offices. All right, let's keep going. We talk about government transparency. Now we're going to talk about the real issues of the day: budget. Um, the dissolution of the city's budget advisory board is a concern for you. How do you propose to restore citizen oversight and ensure transparency in the city budget?
Well, one of the things that if I were to get elected in this position, I would definitely um, come to the round table and see what the budget is consisting of. And I would also like to make the budget a simpler language where people could really understand what is really going on. And I would taste it, I would break it down to see where are we spending the money? Where is it going? And what are we doing for the budget to get more money, to get more funds? I would definitely bring the experts in because I don't know everything.
Mhm.
I'm coming in new. So I would need the experts to come and help with those situations that are on hand with the budget, because the budget is, it carries the whole city. That's how the city works with the budget.
Okay. All right. Um, let's keep it going. And so we talk about the budget. Let's talk about some issues of the day. One of them being the compound. The compound. It's been a thorn in our side for many years, and recently it has caused us to be nationwide news across the country, as far as what is happening there, as far as the deaths, the murders, the body dumping, all of those things that's happening. What do you think should happen to the compound? As it is, we know that there's different landowners out there. It is a very complex matter, um, to try to solve. The city has had several meetings on this issue already. What are your thoughts on how do you think, what would be your approach in trying to help solve this issue that is going on with the compound?
Just as recent as April, they just did another research and they just came up with a whole bunch of new ideas of what's going on and what can be done there and how the zoning is. My first thought on that is, as I speak to the citizens, is if there was water and if there was electricity, people would then want to build. Then those people that are holding on to those properties, instead of expecting to get more money out of the property because that's what they're holding on to, they would want to build. And I think with opening the door to water and electricity, that would also bring more people that are interested, like businesses, industries, knowing that there is a way and that we, Palm Bay, is going to have to make a sacrifice to start that, get that rolling. And then once that is in place, we're going to get our money back. There's no way that we're going to lose out once we go ahead and implement and pay for those things that need to be done. But I believe that the first step is getting water and electricity. One more point I would like to make is that a lot of, well, you covered it, a lot of the people there are, there's a whole different variety of what can be done in there, and I'll leave it at that because you covered it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Um, Miss. Okay, let's talk. Take again. All the audience questions. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted. And Mr. Hammer, and he's running for, I believe it's seat 2, and it's obviously reckless to wait and maybe getting funding for police and fire. Any ideas to get results right now?
Well, I did go and I visited 2 fire stations, and according to what I was told by one of the fire district chief, is they just received a raise. They also have another race coming up and they have a third race coming up. So I don't believe that currently that is a reckless waiting on it. Um, we have to, as mayor of the city, reach out and see what funds are available, what resources are available. Taxing the people is not something that I want to do because I too am burdened every time they think about bringing up a tax or something. I would definitely endlessly look for resources, funds, and any type of other ways to bring that money in.
Okay, and so you got there. You got to the big major issue that we're having today, and that's the millage.
Mm.
The proposed increase, or not increase, but a separate millage to help with the public safety issue, right? Fire department and the police department, funded by this separate 2 mil. Um, I need to hear. I think I hear your stance on it just now by your answer, but say it again for me. I need to hear your stance on it. Do you think this is something that is needed? Do you think that the community should be taxed separately for this? And what, give me your, uh, chime in and let me know exactly how you think this should be properly managed so that way we can actually service the city in a better way. As you can see, and as you're aware, we have a situation, keep it in mind, we have a situation where the fire department has a lousy response time. The police department has a lousy response time. Okay. It's not to up to par as to where we want it to be as a city. It's something that we want to fix. Obviously, the infrastructure has caused this nightmare that we're in right now. We have grown and we have grown expeditiously. We are bursting at the seams, Ms. Rivera. So, as a mayor, and I know your response is probably going to be well intended. So, tell me um, how you would fix this, given everything that I just put out there for you. I'm going to remove myself from the screen because I want to hear your response on this.
The 2 mil is a hot topic. It seems to be on everyone's mind, and it's definitely on my mind. I believe that there are other resources, other avenues that we can take to provide the funds that are needed for the people that do deserve, because the fire people, the fire stations need to be repaired. The firemen's, they deserve a raise. The policemen's, which are very dear to my heart, my brothers and sisters, they're police officers. So, of course, they go out every day and they risk their lives. So I am not sitting here saying that they should not get a raise. If anything, they deserve it. But I believe that there's other avenues that we need to research and take our time to get to that point where we can give them a raise. I think it's so easy to just jump, boom, and let's go and let's get the money from the residents, from the citizens of Palm Bay. We have citizens that are elder. And if you look at the graphics, we have elder citizens, we have senior citizens that have a fixed income, we have veterans that have fought all their lives. And I'm going to go to the extreme and say they may have to choose from where paying their property taxes or maybe having a meal in a day. That to me is totally unfair. We're going to do our homework. We're going to get to the bottom and we're going to come up with the funds to provide this city for what it needs to continue to grow. And one more thing, yes, the response is delayed. And I was there in and while I was there, the alarm went off. And you know what he told me? He goes, you know what, Miss Edith? With all this traffic that all of a sudden we have, all these people moving into Palm Bay, when it used to take us 5 minutes, now it's taking us, he even went to say 15 to 20 minutes because of the traffic. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Off top, I haven't really just came to me something I probably need to start asking the candidates. Um, did you have a chance to meet with any of the department heads or from the city manager down to kind of get a complete picture of where we stand as a city? Have you? Is that something you have done already?
I have scheduled them. Um, I have to go accordingly to their schedule. I don't want to interfere in their daily schedule. So I did call. I do have several scheduled appointments, but like I told them when I spoke to them, please make it upon your convenience, not my convenience, because I do not want to interrupt your work schedule. So yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So as long as is something that you're doing, awesome. That helps my thinking of how you're operating your campaign. That's awesome. Um, let's keep going. So we talked about the millage. We exhausted that. We know exactly where your position is on that. One of the things that we're running into in this community is we're growing, we're bursting at the seams, as I clearly stated earlier. However, the apartments, the houses, I mean, the pricing is just out of out of whack. I mean, $2,000, $3,000 for an apartment is just crazy, right? So, um, how would you, or what would you do to encourage affordable housing in Palm Bay? And that's the first part of the question. And next thing, keeping in mind, our fire departments and our police departments, police officers, they don't get paid that much. Or teachers, they don't not get paid that much. And a lot of them live and work in Palm Bay. And so, and what would you do as a mayor to encourage affordable housing? That's my question.
Okay. I'm going to talk about first about the teachers and the officers and the nurses in this area and the CNAs. I want to address that first. There is a program called Heroes Program, and they allow you to get $35,000 for your first home. And I believe that that is a fabulous program that the state has given. And every single person in this city that is a police officer, a fireman, a teacher, they need to take advantage of that. And what happens sometimes is there's information out there that the people are not aware of. So I would definitely make it a point to, when the little newspaper comes out or the other newspaper comes out, that that information is there so the people of Palm Bay can inform themselves. $35,000 is a lot of money going towards your home. So that's something that I would definitely encourage people to look at. And the other one was, I'm sorry, could you repeat the first part of the first question?
I know I forgot it. So that's okay. That's okay. Let's see.
Oh,
Maybe it will come back to me while we continue the interview.
thank you.
Um, so we talked about the air infrastructure. Let's talk about the roads. So we know about the road bond, right? And
Mhm.
right, and so I was a part of the situation back in 2018, was it? When I was a chairperson of the initiative that helped push for the road bond back then, and because I saw a need. But what happened was, with the roads came the infrastructure, and it came quickly. And so, what would you do to ensure that, number one, we have a dedicated, well, we do have a dedicated fund, but that dedicated fund for the roads is stay where it's supposed to be, and will you help monitor that on a ongoing basis? Because we have seen in the past where we just didn't have that fund. The fund didn't lack money, but now we're there. I was told by Deputy Mayor Felix earlier
Mhm.
this week that we have substantial funds there, but he couldn't say how much. But I will try to get an answer at some point. But what would you do to make sure that we Palm Bay continue to have a dedicated fund for road maintenance?
I believe what happens sometimes is certain issues fall between the cracks. So this is possibly one of those. If the funds are there, why are we using the funds? And then another thing that he stated, and I will just repeat what he stated. He says we have to continue on adding money to it in order for it to continue. So we already know that our roads are in horrible conditions. There's a lot of places here in Palm Bay that they are still dirt roads. So this issue goes back over 30 years. And then I'm thinking to myself, why are we waiting for so long to repair this? Now this falls on our plate and we have to address it immediately because the residents are concerned about what are we doing. I know that back in 2018 or was it 2019, they gave $150 million
Right.
to repair the roads, and that is still in process. Unfortunately, to be fair, the wheel is grinding slowly. So those roads are just getting done slowly. But I would definitely not allow for those to fall between the cracks. We would have to address it immediately and have people in positions that I would hold responsible. And you know another thing that I would do, Kevin? I
Most
would go into my car and I would visit the roads, and we would take a pen and paper and see which are the roads that need the work, because staying in the office, it's not going to help the community. I need to know what's going on, and I need to know and see what's going on. So I would be a hands-on mayor. I wouldn't let that fall between the cracks, because this is one of the major issues that we have.
Yeah, the roads are continuously being a challenge. You see the social media posts daily from different residents on that issue. All right. Thank you so much on your answer. Impact fees. There has been significant discussion about the impact fees, and you know where I'm going with this, and their timely use for infrastructure projects. Can you tell us about, or if you have any plans to ensure these impact fees or if utilized effectively and to support these new developments? Okay. So, what are you going to do about impact fees?
I would definitely promote impact feeds. I believe that where we're stand at right now with the impact feeds, we are currently falling behind compared to other cities. There's one particular city that if you drive by, you see that there's a new development, but then right across the street, you see that there's a high school. And then right across the street, you see that there is a firehouse. What is that telling you? That the impact feeds were collected properly
Hmm.
to gain the items and and those things that are needed to help the community, and not the city to then get stuck with that, and then we are responsible for building that. I would definitely look into the impact feeds. If there are changes that have to be done, I would do it. I would definitely increase the impact feed. I would also hold everyone responsible who has currently developed something and has not completed the task. I would ask, they would have to pay for the allotment that they said they were going to pay. And maybe in the future, think about it twice. Do I want to give you another permit when you failed us the first time, when you didn't complete the roads, when you didn't put the traffic light up? Those are things that have to be looked at as a whole picture. I believe that anyone that comes into this city and wants to build, they have an interest in our land, and we have something to give them. So this is a time to come to the tables and bargain. This is a win-win situation. They're going to get what they want, but we are definitely going to get what we want, which is building the roads correctly, having the schools, the firehouse. Hey, it's in our hands. We're not going to lose.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you for that response. Um, let's see, Mr. Dale Davis. He has a comment. It's also been mismanaged the roads bond for 150 million. The impact fees are all set to spend money on the roads. Impact fees are spent for community development, sidewalks, infrastructure. The money keeps getting generated, but it's not used properly. That is because of bad management. So that's his thoughts on that. Anything you want to opine on based on what he said?
No, I want to thank him for that, because it definitely slipped my mind.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Davis. As always, Mr. Davis has been watching the program. Um, do you believe we need a moratorium in the city of Palm Bay in order to kind of slow things down?
I I feel that we need to regulate some things and not allow the massive building that's going on, especially for something like the storage and the car washes. For instance, and this is my point of view because I'm a lady, I have an eye for detail, but I feel that those storages and car wash should be zoned in different areas versus right on Babcock Street. When you go there, that's our main street there. Boom. What do you look at? You're looking at the U-Haul, and it's such a
Hmm.
ugly sight. So I
Right.
would definitely make sure that who's ever building and they come and they bring their ideas of what they want to build, I would definitely look into it and make sure that they're zoned correctly. Um, I would not want, of course, I would prefer what the people want, but in my vision, I wouldn't want all this massive development that's going on. I believe that it is totally right now out of control. So would I put one on? I would have to look into it. I would like to say yes, but because I'm not totally sure on it, because there's a flip side to it. So right now, I'll tell you the truth. I would have to look more into it.
Okay, understood. Understood. Um, all right, so let's put some thoughts on the screen. Your supporters are telling you, yes, they're going to vote for you. There go, Miss Rivera. With we put that one up earlier, and this one is there. So everybody's is in support so far of your of your candidacy. So that's a good thing. Edith Rivera has the knowledge and wisdom that is needed in the city to bring forth prosperity. Go, Edith Rivera. So there goes your community supporting you in your candidacy. So that's awesome to see. All
That's
right.
something.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about transportation for a second. Investing in public transportation is part of your platform, correct?
Mhm.
How do you envision improving public transportation in the city of Palm Bay?
It's important because we have, if you look at the graphics, we have lower class and we have middle class families. We have a lot of single moms that they don't have vehicles because the insurance has raised so much. So they rely on public transportation. And that would be a must. Definitely, I would make sure that the buses would come around more frequent, excuse me, more often. And also, instead of, I don't know if you ever been on a bus ride, but you will spend a whole half an hour to just get to one designated place, which should take you only 5 minutes. So I would make sure that we had more buses so we can shorten the routes. And that would be working very closely with probably and I hate to use the word probably, but with the county, because the buses, I believe we are not generating the buses from here. And correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. That's all county.
Right.
Yeah, the county is pretty much in charge of the buses. I mean, but Palm Bay, the way it's set up, I don't see a lot of buses. They're more along in the Melbourne area. Um,
Hmm.
that's where you pretty much see the buses. So that's and so I see a question about are you Republican or Democrat? This is a non-partisan race, so
Thank you.
we're not going to be posing that question. Yes, Mr. Hammer, Space Coast Area Transit. You're correct. That's the folks that are in charge of the busing system. Thanks for that correction.
Thank you.
Um, so we talk about that, and Ms. Rivera, let me ask you something. You said you haven't really gone around and talked to the different departments yet, but
Mhm.
from your standpoint, in looking as a resident looking in, um, if you were to grade the city manager today, what grade would you give her?
With all due respect, Kevin, I am going to say that it would be a hard decision for me to rate her because it would be my opinion. An opinion is based on only facts and some rumors. So that's what I've heard. I've heard some facts and some rumors about her. I would like to have more knowledge and more truth to that. So I would have to meet with her and speak to her. And running as a mayor,
Hmm.
I would definitely be very discreet and very careful before I would even rate her. You know, I've heard great things about her, and I have also heard a lot of things that she hasn't done. But I would have to investigate and have it hands on to find out the truth.
Okay, let's talk about Okay, let's talk about the. I want to formulate this question properly. The problem with the flooding that we had in recent past, we had a situation where a lot of roads were flooded. Do you think it's properly being properly managed, and what steps would you take to ensure that we don't encounter what we encountered in the past as far as the flooding situations in Palm Bay? We had a lot of areas that was flooded in a recent storm, as you're aware.
This is a double-edged sword. I've been
Hmm.
going around and putting up my signs, and what have I noticed? There's a lot of trash, debris, and a lot of empty bottles thrown in the canals. So the citizens need to be the citizens should be responsible and not add any burden to the canals and to the water flows.
Hmm.
We should also, the city should be also be doing preventive maintenance. When you know the storms are coming, preparing for hurricanes, we need to go out there and make sure that those canals are clean. This is a way of preventing it from flooding. And of course, we know that there's a lot of areas that the plumbings and the pipes are too small and they're outdated and they need to be replaced. Also, a few years ago, well, I've been here 34 years ago. And before, I remember that the city would come by and clean out all the trenches. That has stopped. So, what I've done, I've taken it upon myself to make sure that when my people come to cut the lawn, they take care of it. But it's important that the city does their part of cleaning those canals. But once again, it goes back to the people. We have to protect our city and we have to protect the environment. But the city has to do their fair share of maintenance and looking into how we can improve the waterways so we can have better drainage for the waters. Palm Bay is a virgin. This place is still growing, so we have to make sure that we go to the experts and see how we can get better drainage in this area.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Good answer on that one.
Welcome.
Awesome. Awesome. Uh, you have done a great job in answering these questions. And believe it or not, I've exhausted all the questions I can possibly ask you. Let's see. I'm going through my questions, making sure I didn't miss anything. Hold on one second here.
Yes, sir.
I'm not seeing much questions from the audience. Let's put up a comment from one of the audience members. It says, I know Edith Rivera professionally, and I know one thing for sure. She's a woman who speaks her mind. And whether you like what you hear or not, she's a woman of integrity. And that's what we need in Palm Bay. Okay, great comment. Thank you for that. Um, let's see. What do you think about the financial stability of Palm Bay as it is right now? Based on what you've seen or in the budget meetings, etc. And I know you probably have gone to these budget meetings.
I believe that we're not standing well, even though, no, I don't want to touch that one. I'm sorry. I'm going to start all over again. I believe that we're not in good financial. We're not doing. We don't have a good budget currently because if not, we wouldn't be having all these issues. We would be more active in repairing our roads and waterways. And the city has is currently building an addition, and I believe that currently the budget needs to be looked at and with sound people come together and we should look at the budget and see where the improvement could be done and to see where we can um, get more money to better our city.
Yeah. That addition that's going next to City Hall, I've seen chatter on social media where there are residents who are opposed to the idea of adding this new building. Do you think there's something that's needed based on your thoughts?
Well, it's already coming up. So it would be too late if I were to say we could have used the money elsewhere. But if I was as then, I would have said, well, I think we could invest our money in better projects for the city and for the benefit of the city. I'm not saying maybe in the future we can look at that and go back to that and address that, but I feel that that could have been held over and use that money where it's really needed. My opinion.
Okay. All right. Your opinion. Let's go back to the. I think I see a question. Let's see. Probably more a statement. Oh, hold on. There's one here. What legacy do you hope to leave behind at the end of your term?
Well, I want the people to say, Miss Edith Rivera, listen to the people. She did what the people wanted. However, sometimes the people want ridiculous things. We're not going to go there. You know that's the truth. But I also want them to know that Edith Rivera, instead of adding to the debt, by the time Edith Rivera left office,
Yeah.
the debt was almost paid up. That's what I want. I want citizens to say, we really trusted her. She was really face value. She was honest and
Right.
she was a hard worker. We saw Edith coming down the streets and asking questions. She involved the residents. She involved the people. She involved the churches, the mosques. That's what I want them to
Yeah.
know.
That's why I brought up the community involvement at the beginning of the interview. So that's great that you're along those lines. Okay. Mr. Davis asked a very important question that I almost forgot to ask. Thanks, Mr. Davis, for popping this up on the screen. We have all talked about a downtown using smart growth. Where would you place downtown Palm Bay?
You know, I've been racking my brain thinking about where we could put one. Do we need one? Most definitely. We need to attract the tourists. We need to attract the people that go to Melbourne. We need to attract them to come here. Now, where would we build that? I would say we would have to probably build it in a new development in a new area so we could have restaurants, we could have people to come and sit out and look at the birds. We need a green area. That's what I would suggest. And the money wouldn't come from us. The developers would provide that area. And then what we would do is we would expand from that. And we're not going to lose our money that we invest. We're going to get our money back. And that's how we're going to pay the debt.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you, David, for that question.
All right. Let's. I think this is more of a statement. With the rapid growth in the housing, an increase in population over the last decade, has consideration given to increase civil services, example, fire or police department, schools, or city support. I think we exhausted that. We talked about the infrastructure situation. Let's see. Any more questions, audience? Miss Edith Rivera listened to her citizens and took us into a future because she listened and she cared and she had great leadership. Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks
David.
for you have a lot of supporters on tonight. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Um, that's awesome. And so, Ms. Rivera, thank you for joining me tonight, and thanks
Thank you.
for voicing your concern for the community and where you see we should go as a city in our growth. And looking forward to seeing how you'd fare at the polls on August 20th. Uh, and now is your opportunity to tell the audience, for those who have not cast that vote yet, why they should vote for you. Also, you can include in your closing remarks where they can reach you and where they can donate as well, and those kind of things. So this is your time. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Go ahead. I'm going to remove myself from the platform, and it's your time to voice your reason as to why they should vote for you.
Thank you for this great opportunity. I would like to say these words of this great president that we had in 1961. President John F. Kennedy. During his inauguration, he said these words: "It's not what the United States can do for you, but what can you do for Palm Bay?" So today I am leaving the residents and the citizens of Palm Bay to say, what can you and I do for Palm Bay to make it better, to make it a community, to make it a place where people want to come and spend their money. We don't want them going to other places. We want to attract people, but we first have to start at the bottom. We have to make sure that, excuse me, we have parks, we have recreation, we have a YMCA for the young people. And if you keep in mind, within the last couple of years, the ones that have done this heinous crimes are our young people. We need to draw them in. That means the community has to get involved. The churches, the mosques, the people, the schools. I would love to see a cultural brought to Palm Bay. The artist comes, a theater where the high school people and the people locally that have all these great talents could charge fees and express themselves through the arts. I would also love to see a community that embraces each other. I would work very hard for you. I wouldn't leave one stone unturned before we would provide the funds. We would do anything for the city to grow. Not anything, that sounds a little too exaggerating, but we would definitely, before we would tax the citizens, I would do everything to do the research to make sure that we get the correct funds. I wouldn't rest until the city is standing. And when I leave this office, I would love for it to be zero debt. It has multiplied a lot, which is not what I want to talk about. We just want to move forward and look at the bright side. We're going to together bring this city to its feet. Together, we will do a good job, even though we may have differences, even though we may have difference of whether you're Republican or Democrat. That doesn't matter, because together we need to work together to build a great city. If anyone would like to donate anything to my campaign, you can email me at one nation under God .24 at gmail.com. I like things very simple. I don't have a campaign website. You can go on my Facebook and just see my campaign, my family, and my church. That's who I am. I believe that I am well rounded, and I'm praying for this city, and I'm also praying for this nation. So, everyone, God bless you and good night. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Miss Rivera. Thank you so much. I hope it works well for you at the polls. August 20th is the day, and some of you have elected to get mail-in ballots. This is the opportunity to vote for the candidate of your choice. I can't tell you how to vote. Um, I can only bring on the individuals who are running for the offices. Um, Mind you, some of the individuals have not elected to come on the platform, and you can clearly tell by who I'm interviewing, who has elected not to come on the platform. I've been doing this now since 2020 at the height of COVID, and that's the reason for doing it at that time was because of the fact that the individuals running for offices had no way to meet the residents because of COVID. So that's what's has encouraged me to say, hey, let's do something to bridge the gap. And so I've continued it and I'm here. And so for those who have accepted the challenge to come onto the platform, thank you. Just so you know, for those who are new to my platform, I never share my questions with the individuals running for office. That's not something I do. So they're hearing the questions for the first time for most. for most individuals, they're hearing it for the first time. And and they've, for individuals who are running for the same office, they may hear a couple questions that are the same. So that's how I run my platform. And thank you for your support. Next week, we will continue the interviews. Um, this week was a busy week for me. We had several interviews, but next week we'll continue the interviews all the way until the second week in August. So please continue to support me by attending the interviews, listen to the candidates as they voice their concern for their community. Thank you, Palm Bay. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. See you next week. Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.